Hello again. This is Joe Azizalahoff, the Oriental Carpet book author and the owner of a Oriental Carpet brokerage service in New Jersey, serving the tri-state area as well as the rest of the United States and the world, in fact. I would like to take this time to discuss a very important subject, excuse me, or carpet care. Carpet care is critical at this particular time because the rugs that we have out today, the new rugs that are being made, are very often a little delicate because of the finishes, and the some of them are just and are commercialized, as many great rugs in the past have been commercialized, but the commercialization has led to the critical need to keep these carpets in as good a condition as possible. So it's not that difficult. There's nothing to be squeamish about. You don't have to be a fanatic. If you spill some Coke, you don't have to go run out and have it cleaned. I know people have done that, and it's not a good idea. So here are the basic rules in a nutshell. Rotate your rug 180 degrees, top to bottom. That is to say, just 180 degrees. Turn it around. What's the top is the bottom is the top. Do that as often as you can. If it's a smaller rug, do it a couple times a year. If it's a big rug, do it every year or two. Must be done. If it's a gigantic rug with tons of furniture, you can wait 3, 4, 5 years. But the problem is, if there's a lot of sun coming in one area, it'll have to be done every year or two. If there's a skylight, it has to be done more frequently. Okay, that's number one. If the carpet gets sun faded, that's okay. No need to panic. They tint them. They actually touch them up, and I can provide that service to get you people who would be able to tint your faded rugs. They match the colors perfectly. Padding is essential. Nice thick pad will insulate the carpet against the floor and prevent drying. Drying is the dryness of the environments of the heated apartments and homes. Will eventually dry out the lanolin and the wool and the essential oils in the cotton. So we do like to have a nice thick pad on the floor to insulate the carpet from dampness, which ultimately or dryness, which ultimately leads to dryness. Here's a little insider tip. You can actually change your padding every 5 years or so because the padding itself actually dries out. Take off your shoes if you come into the house. It's a very good thing for health, and I highly recommend it as far as the longevity of rugs goes. The other essential that I recommend is light vacuuming. It's a little bit controversial. That's my position on this. I prefer swivel sweepers, stick brooms, nothing too powerful, nothing that the suction is too great. However, there's a problem of embedded dirt, and so once in a while you should use your 12 amp or regular Hoovers or Eurekas. Just your regular vacuums. In fact, vacuums have become so efficient lately that you can get a very low amperage vacuum cleaner that would be quite a lot of suction on it. So, again, you do want to have every 2-3 weeks a decent bit of suction, from a 12 amp regular. Again, nothing too powerful. And then if you have a maid or if you want to keep it dust-free, a couple times a week, you would be using your stick brooms, swivel sweepers, and light suction type of things. They're only $20, $30 to buy those. Spillage is an important subject, and again, spillage, the key to that is to blot the spill out completely as soon as it occurs. That is to say, blot, blot, blot. You do not rub the fiber. So if something is spilt, you take some paper towel, you take a clean sponge that is slightly damp, but you squeeze it out, you dry it out, so it becomes, in a sense, a way to dry out, to pull out the spill. So, if something is spilled, you want to blot the spill out as thoroughly as you can. After you blot it out, you blot in your water, club soda, seltzer, blot it in. You can be a little bit liberal with that, and then blot it dry. So it's a 3 blotting procedure. Blot with a paper towel or slightly dampened sponge, Blot in your water, club soda or seltzer, blot dry. Stainage. If you have stains that are there, again, we can use very safe things. We cannot use anything with bleaching agents or agents that are too harsh. No harsh chemicals is the rule of thumb for cleaning stains. So we could use mild detergents, diluted with water. Again, it's a blotting procedure. You blot it in, and then blot a little water in afterwards. Blot it dry. So basically, we also use Capture, and that is a powder, and it's available from various stores: Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart. And it's a powder, and you don't use the pre-spray. You just brush the powder in, leave it on for a few hours, and vacuum it. Now that is going to be able to reduce the intensity of the stain. The idea with stains is you have to be very patient with them. Very often they congeal into the fiber. They actually form structurally into the fibers, so it's going to be hard very often to remove them completely. We want to just lighten them over time and just reduce their intensity. Some people even use baby powder. They brush it in, which is pretty much biodegradable. You can just leave it on there. And then, so you'll be using your Capture, and you'll be, if you have a more serious spill, you can use the Capture after you blot it and it dries out. Like a day or two later, you can put in a little bit of Capture and then vacuum it also. That's, if you have something like a tea or something like that. So the key is very important that you really want to get these stains out as soon as possible, the spills in particular, and then deal with the stains in a very patient way. If you can't get all the stain out, forget about it. Just live with it until you have it washed. When you have it cleaned commercially, which should be done sort of infrequently. I don't really recommend doing the cleaning too frequently. I would say if you're meticulous, you can hold off for 5-10 years. That's great. But at some point, you will have to have it cleaned to get out the embedded dust to prevent mildew or moth damage and so forth. So here's another problem: getting a good carpet cleaner. Some of them just don't know what they're doing, quite frankly. So what you have to do is search around, check with your friends, and see, or if you have a reputable carpet dealer near you that you know and trust, and you can take it to them, and we hope that they will have a good carpet cleaner that they use. Not all do, but again, I like to get second and third opinions from people. Whenever I do appraisals and stuff, I ask about to see who they use and who the cleaners are that they've heard about and so forth, and then I have them checked out. I try to cross-check them to see who. So it is essential that you get a good carpet cleaner, because if the carpet cleaner is not good, they're not going to do a good job. They may use the wrong processing methods. They may not dry it fast enough. It has to. I don't want to go into how carpets are cleaned, but basically, they have to be dried quickly in a big room, which is at a hot temperature. Because if it's not dried quickly, it's going to have color run, and then we have the problem of who's responsible for the color run. Was it in the rug, or was it something which was a consequence of the cleaning? And then very often, unfortunately, there are lawsuits and so forth. So please look around, and please do your best to find the best carpet cleaner. That is absolutely critical for carpet care. And again, when vacuuming, of course, you want to you don't want to hit the fringes. Of course, if you have a maid or you yourself are vacuuming, please be careful of that. And basically, rugs should generally be rolled and not folded. So if you want to store it for a while, you would roll it in just roll it in a cone. You can put a few moth flakes in if you want to store it for a while. And I think that's pretty much it for carpet care at this particular time. Thanks again for watching.